Alrighty, good afternoon. NAS is looking bullish here. We've got a break of the value area, high, retest, and a move. But like very early in the session, very early in the day, so we'll see what actually materializes. Got a low volume node that we're kind of at as well, so it's interesting. I mean, this range is interesting because this looks like, you know, we hit it numerous times again. So this is kind of a range now that we're trying to get out of. Yeah, I mean, for the range over this period of time, this is literally, you can see quite clearly that this is significant. Could call it an iceberg. A lot of rejections off it. I mean, I imagine it'll be quite. If we break that, then we're obviously going for the highs, I would say. I traded EU this morning, didn't work out. I think for me this was like, I've been trading the NAS quite a lot, and I keep trading EU as if it's the NAS, and it definitely isn't in terms of how it moves, because it's, you know, it's trending down, and it ranges quite differently. So for me, like, I want to mention this because it's like I execute the strategy perfectly fine, but I'm against the trend. I was looking at a higher time frame, low volume node from the past, but again, like if it was the NAS, I'd barely consider that because of, you know, I mean, how big this thing is. There's nothing specific about it, so it's not. Yeah, I mean, it didn't. It doesn't surprise me that this didn't work out. No, because again, like the trend model for trading the NAS is very different to the strategies I've used in the past for trading EU. And really, it was just a trade I didn't need to make. That's the truth of it. I didn't need to make it. I couldn't monitor it well enough. And the footprint was very, you know, it was a very strong resistance. You were seeing lots of buys go absolutely nowhere. So that level was being very, very much protected. And I saw that. I saw that at the time here, and then, you know, it kind of broke here and then came back up. So it wanted to, but it didn't. Now we have some big orders in here. We have some a lot of buys and a lot of sells. We have a low volume node up here. This was a nice trade end of last week. We have a gap still here. We did revisit the value area low of this range from today. So far, there's still a gap here. Which is of interest. And then it doesn't look like there's a lot of volume in this leg either. Nope. So on this candle here with the wick, we've got a negative delta, a lot of buying and selling, and yeah, we've had no really huge orders. Come in yet. We've got some here. They're not massive. Maybe we've got news at 3 and we're just gonna do, you know, minimal commitment until then. Previous daily close was bearish. We've just surpassed the previous daily high. And now, yeah, we've not been to the previous daily low. We've got sellers coming in on the footprint. It's interesting. But there's a lot of sales in here. So what I'm thinking is that if we break this level, then we're looking for the second drive. And probably a buy stop straight into the highs. And probably past them maybe. With yesterday's bearish close, I think there's also a very valid, you know, it's very possible that we wanted, the price wanted to take the previous day's high, before then going lower and continuing. Because obviously yesterday being a bearish day, still that gap, still that big honking gap down there. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're bearish on the day, bearish on the week, but it is a trending time of year and it is the NAS. So best I can, I'm going to let it tell me what it wants to do, what it's going to do, what it is doing. See, look at this. It's got to be a break and retest, right? What time was that? Yeah, about 12, 1 o'clock. It's a nice trade. We break the value area of this range. It's been a few times I've come back to work and seen trades like this. And again, this is perfect, the perfect model, and it's just in line with the trend instead of not in line with the trend. So you can map this range. You can see the breakout of the value area low, which is this blue line here, and then you've got a retest here. Super clean and super simple. Now you have got a big buy here. A bunch of low volume all the way through here. Value area shifted down because of the amount of volume coming in here. Then we could look at that as a new range with its own value area as a balance. Got a round number here. That was a good trade. And where are we here? Another big buy on EU. I will say that on EU there's like all the biggest delta spikes are all bullish. They're all buys. There's one up here. There's one here. And then there's one on this here. And there's nothing more than half the size in cells, which suggests that we might have come down enough by now. See, for me, I think this is an interesting range. Because we had a move, then we had a balance. So we've got our base, then I move up. Obviously, we've come back down, which isn't. Instead of making another base or anything like that. we'll see. If you look at it on face value, you've got your daily profile, you've got your break of the value area high, and this is your retest of the value area high, or any low volume nodes within the value area high, or within the move that breaks the value area high. But obviously it depends on the inevitable subjectivity of how and where you draw your value area or your volume profile. Because if you look at the daily, this makes sense, including this one. Actually, this adds up. So if there's aggressive buying here, then that's valid. To me, it doesn't look great. It doesn't. It doesn't look great, but it has done the things that I look for. There's a big rejection off of this off of this level again. Well, it's not, isn't it? It's not bullish. Really, I think because of the time of day and how the sessions opened up, to have a bullish bias, I want to see this high broken. Because really, I think we're in this range here, which is a higher time frame range. Therefore, I want to give more value to these value area high and low. So this low volume node here, this volume node here, I don't really hasn't got a lot of significance for me. Because it's within the value area of this. It's within the value area of this. Both profiles. And if we come back, then we're talking. We want to see the lows break for the value area to then look for a short. And really, I like the short. I like the short because of the gap below, and this level here is being strongly defended. And obviously, if that breaks, we're going for a good long day. Man, this was a nice trade. was a nice trade. I wrote an essay on this one. Wonder if any of it's even remotely anything. So we had the move down, which I was looking for here from this level. We've not come all the way down. We found a new balance here, which is fine. It's interesting. So we've got more big buys on Euro USD. See this? Yeah, man. This was such a nice trade. So we've come back through here. If we I don't want to trade that with this value area low breaking because of the low volume node here. So I'm just going to sit and wait and see if we break this, because we could tap the low volume node and break that, and then we're off, which is fine. Or we can melt down through here, and then again there's nothing I want until we're here, and then there's potential for that. Alternatively, it's very possible to just bounce in this range today because it's being Monday. I'm just marking these across from my MetaTrader. I actually find drawing the things on makes me pay attention to where they are and what they're doing more than if I don't. We have got some good buys here, which is interesting. Because again, this is arguably still the retest of the value area high on the daily profile. Also got news in like 7 minutes. So even if it's just a nice candle. It's interesting. Low volume node, big orders, positive delta. This is interesting. Is for me anyway, because we've got a big buy delta level here. So if we come back through and through these aggressive buys, then we could be going long. So again here, if we come this far down, we've got the potentiality for the potentiality. What sort of language is that? We've got the option of the break of the value area lows, the retest and the continuation, or we've also got a very possible low volume node, which is another gap here, test of the value area low, and then mean reversion trade. So those are the potentially valid scenarios at the moment. See if the buyers are getting anywhere on euro. The buys are much bigger than sells. Or should I say the individual orders? It's just interesting how much more force is required to move EU up. And you kind of, it's like you kind of give it a flick down and it goes a mile. But it's come down a long way. As much as I say, like, I was trading against the trend yesterday and that was potentially a mistake. Yesterday? I mean this morning. And that was potentially a mistake. It was still quite a clean setup. And again, if I would have stayed working, I'd have seen this break. Just seen the low volume and the retest. And that's what I was looking for. Instead I got a bounce. Any of these on the volume footprint, you can see that that's a place to change your thesis or get out. You know, and then we re-enter the volume area and we sail straight through it. It's like, that's a nice trade because I could have broken there, got in here, traded that, and then check the volume, check the footprint for the retest and that move there. So again, nice. So that there's nothing wrong with the fact that I took this trade. Really, it's just frustrating that the one that I do take is the one that is the loss, and the ones that I don't trade that are valid, I'm not there for, and that's gonna happen. But it kind of is something that I like to remind myself, because otherwise it's like the strategy doesn't work, the system doesn't work, and that's not true. I wasn't there and I didn't spend the time doing it today. So what we got? Still deciding what it wants to do. Come lower. But again, this is still all pretty low volume territory. Sheesh. That's news. So that's the biggest buy of the day is in there, is now in profit. It's interesting. It's as if they knew. And really, we're back inside all of our volume areas now. For this range, for the daily range, for the higher time frame range. So this isn't really valid for anything in this area. If I was already up, I would consider a break and then this. But obviously, well, actually no, it's not. There's just nothing there that's valid because you've also got a low volume node right here, which means your expectancy can't be more than peanuts. Because you might break this aggressive buy, this aggressive sell with this buy, with these buys here, and the aggressive sells in this area here, because there are a few more aggressive sells they can get squeezed, like into the value area high. But obviously, with that low volume node being there anyway, you're kind of, it's very easy just to do that. So break of this value area low here, and then a retest. I mean, like a version of that might make some kind of sense, but really maybe that was it. But with the low volume node here though, it's kind of invalid. But because of the aggressive buy and the aggressive sell, you could put your stop loss here instead of, you know, outside this low volume node here right at the top. But shorting into a low volume node when the price is moving up for the day so far, even though this has just taken the previous daily high and come back. Well, actually, it's not even taken it. It's tried to. It's come close. So yeah, I wouldn't take this trade, and I wouldn't take the other trade on the other side of this. This is interesting. This is interesting, but for me again, like because of all of this, there's nothing for me to trade until we do that on the other side of what's already happening. There's nothing in here for me to trade, especially if we come back into this value area. You know, like it's all irrelevant because we've just had the news and we've just had this big buy here. I'm reluctant to try and short this again. But that's got a higher probability than the alternative, which is this. We'll see. I could trade a mean reversion trade of this range using this low volume node, but nah, it's too small. The range is too small. I'm trying to figure out in my mind whether there was any way I could have, or it would have made sense to qualify this sell. But with this low volume node, I just don't think I could have justified it because it's pretty substantial. But so far we have got, there we go. So far we have got some sells, some buys, and then even some more sells in the doji in here, like that. Then at this decision level, there is a big buy delta spike. So if I was already in profit, I'd be looking for a close through this level. Oh man. Or would I? I don't know actually. On the 1 minute the low volume node isn't quite the same. Doesn't look as big. Doesn't look as significant. Because there's plenty of sellers in here that are due a squeeze. But I mean, in terms of value area, it's just not valid. It ain't valid. I can want it to be as much as I like, and I can also choose to tell myself I knew it if it does work out that way. But that's not a trade. It's not a trade, it's a gamble. It's gonna do it, isn't it? Actually, no, maybe not. It's just gotta satisfy that. Satisfy that, and then continuation after threatening. Okay. So I think that zero print just wanted filling before we go lower. To complete the auction and continue down. Might be wrong. In terms of the big trades and this, yeah, I mean, to me that's break through the low, value area low, retest, fail, continuation. If it wasn't for the low volume node here, this would be a completely valid sell. Depending on which value area you're looking at. If you're looking at the value area of this, which is basically most of this morning's price action, break it, sweep, break it, retest, continue. Perfectly possible. I'm in like this. As soon as I saw that zero print there, and then the wick that came back, because of the precision of where the big trades are and what the market looked like that's how that gives you a really good risk to reward, which means that you're going to lose almost nothing if you lose. It's a small position, but I'm in this because I saw that we were rejecting here. As soon as I saw that, I took it because of this value area here, breaking the value area low, retest, and then continuation down. My stops are break even now, so it's already a freebie. What I would like would be some kind of lock into some more big trades to back up my thesis, basically. There's been nothing big since, and if we hold support at this low volume node, then we can still go higher. But I'm here right now. Looking for low of day. That was a good entry. That was a really good entry. I'm right in line with the buys here and this sell. Like literally the bottom of this wick. Might fill that. See it. If it wasn't for the big trade and post news, after New York Open, I would be looking for continuation. I've got a buy in here, honking low volume node. So could be a mean reversion trade, but I'm trying to think to myself why I don't like it, why I don't like this as a trade. We are bearish. The session is bearish. there's this balance here. We've found new balance. We're testing the value area high of that new balance, or this low volume area. Not sure. I want aggressive sells here, and the only big order is a buy. So I'd like to see some aggressive sellers to validate, but maybe that's not what I'm gonna get. See, I'm still thinking that this is like trading the middle of the range on the higher time frame. So I'm not expecting this to work out or go really well. I just took the valid setup that I saw within what was going on, and I think part of the reason I took it was because of the time of day, because we're within, we're in the first 2 hours of opening. So much of the time we have a range and then a break and then a break, and then we just sit back at square one. Before then, either just doing that, or making a decision for a direction. And it's very possible I'm still in the middle of trading the noise rather than the move for the day, for the session. So we've come back to the low volume node here. There are some aggressive sellers on EU. I'm going to flip this over because I actually find looking at looking at the footprint chart on EU, I find it much easier, much cleaner than NAS, NQ. So did have some aggressive sells there, aggressive buy, but have we just wicked a low volume node and now we're going higher? And if so, we're then looking for a break, retest, continue. And that's made valid by this balance, this range here, this profile. Got this node here, but we've already visited that. We've got this node here, we've already visited that. See, this low volume node area is still holding on the 5 minute. We just worked through it a couple of times. This looks nice and decisive on the 1 minute. Looks bullish on the 5 minute. Candles are great and kind of useless at the same time. So I'm not worried about this low volume node now. This one here. I want to see if we break and then we break the value area high, make a low volume node, and then we can retest it and enter long. And hopefully not repeat this. I still think that this is a really interesting area because of how price moved this morning. Or maybe the sell made a lot more sense, and when there was aggressive sellers, it would have made sense to join in. But with the low volume node and the tightness of the range, it wasn't really worth it. He says he's going to go down there now. Well, that was a good closure on the 5 minute. So we're back inside the main balance range for the day, or for this morning. Point of control. I want to at least target the value area low here, because this is low of day. Because there's a low volume node. All right. So since this move started, there's been absolutely no big trades at all. I'm now trailing the stop on this because it's quite a good risk to reward. I say trailing, I've moved it like that. Guaranteed something rather than nothing. That would have made sense as a sell. There's a mean reversion trade. See if we get a lot of support here from this, like defending this big buy. That'd be really interesting. But having said that, looking on the volume profile, the sells here are big. Like that. Really interesting. That sell is bigger than the... Is it? No, it's not. It's not bigger than the delta of the previous buy, but is substantial. Look at that. More aggressive selling. Wait, we're in this other low volume node here now. I think I'm gonna leave you because I didn't take this sell because to me there wasn't really a clean entry. Maybe in the 1 minute it would have made more sense. As choppy as you like. We'll see if this level gets defended by buyers. I think now we're definitely looking to take the low of day and probably get target this gap. I'm gonna take off most of my risk. Really, I could put my stop loss just above that big order. But with this whole thing being a low volume node, if I think I'm going to leave it, for example, that. Like that. As soon as we reach here, I'm going to move my stop to here behind that big order, and I'm gonna remove most of the position. Okay, I'm not going to wait and see. I'm just going to move my stop to here because it's a good enough risk to reward even if it wicks back now, and I'm so near the target. Mind you, previous daily low. Worth. Or other gap. Worth. But those are kind of silly, right? Cool. Euro is so bearish. The euro is getting it's crumbling like a wet cake. So this is now an equal, like this is exactly the same. This is the low of day level here. So we've basically hit the target that I was anticipating. I'm like that now with my stop. This big low volume node here has the potential to take some profit away from me, but not a loss obviously. Or I could look at that as a continuation trade if we do get stopped out. Sheesh kebab. Look at that. So on EU we've got big sells here, exactly where we are now. So we want to see aggressive sellers defending here for a short using bouncing off that. I mean, it's just so ugly. So ugly, right? Or is it just me? I think with this range we've got the option for either of those, and I'm going to wait for a break here. Or here. NAS is looking bearish. I almost want, well, no, I don't. I was going to say that I almost want to revisit this low volume node. That's quite a long way out. It's more about what the aggressive moves are. We've got the book map has a level here, like right below this, which suggests that there's conviction in higher prices from here, from someone. I'm going to actually go back to NQ. So my stop is just at this level here, just above. But we've got obviously all of this. I just don't want to take away the profit. I'd rather close and then open another position. But there's a big sell here as well. So we've got that's what we're looking like. If we, yeah, I've got this one here because if we wick the low volume node, which it looks like we might be about to do. If we wick the low volume node, depending on whether we have aggressive buyers or sellers, that's me out of that position. That's fine. Good trade. So it was that in the end. So obviously, if we get aggressive sellers here, then we can play the continuation into the previous daily low. Using the profit 259.70 is the level. So yeah, using the profit from the previous trade, we can now look and decide what to do with it. We can see if we want to use it to trade the continuation. This, however, looking at it, there are aggressive sells in here that are now being squeezed. This is the value area low for the overall higher time frame range. We've taken this low here. Actually, no, we haven't. We've nearly have. We've found buyers. So I think that leaves us out of. I think that's it. I think that's it for the move. We want to see. Okay, that's an aggressive buy. In here, which makes sense because we are now moving. Unless I see aggressive sellers now, I'm not going to take that as a sell, because I think now we've come back low enough. This is the mean reversion trade for the overall range on the higher time frame, potentially. What I want to see is where's the kind of where wants to be reclaimed. So okay, so we've got a low volume node here, we've got a level here with lots of buys. We've got aggressive buys here, we've got lots of buys and lots of sells here. This level is potentially a decision level for moving higher, offered the potential for breaking highs. And now we are in profit for the session, so we can be a little bit more aggressive if we want to be. Obviously, being in here is like right back in the balance of this range. We've got no big sells, but we're still kind of so yeah. I mean, this is any higher than this, and we're back in. We're 100% like buys or nothing now. If we continue. If we stall here, then we're looking for a previous daily low. But we're not stalling, are we? So that's that. And we have got sellers in here, but they are now outnumbered. We've got this, and we've got this. There's always the possibility that we just want to finish the auction in the next low volume node. But on the profile I've got for the day, the range, the session, especially on the on the profile that I've got for the like on MetaTrader for NQ, we are testing the value area low here. So this is the last port of call for any more sells, and because of how structure was bearish to begin with, I'm thinking, yeah, if it wasn't like if I had some aggressive sells kind of defending here, like big trades, then I'd be much more interested in this. I often have this habit of getting sucked into the 1 minute and then missing the higher time frame version of the trade on the 5 minute. Price is reminding me that this is also all a low volume node as well. So that would make going higher make sense. Got a low volume node here, which kind of invalidates the short entry because we can just wick up quite easily, and then we've got a low volume node here, which supports along a continuation potentially. Looking at how it's shaping up at the moment. EU still, I mean, they're defending the buy level so far. And despite aggressive selling, cumulative volume delta on EU is bullish. But I find that that's such a flaky representation. And this is where I'll tell you that I am in this sell as well. We had our range, we swept. We held the continuation. My bearish is bias. The sells here didn't carry on, or haven't carried on so far. I need to stop entering without saying I've entered. I want to. It doesn't really, it's nothing to hide. Because of the low volume node, I'm already, I'm gone break even, like right now. We've got a sell in here. It's gonna whip me out straight away. It's fine if it does. So we've got an aggressive seller coming back. Price moving higher. I wonder if there's a 0 print. No, there isn't. I might both be right and get stopped out. It's also very possible, especially when I've just gone to break even straight away. But because of the low volume node, I'm not gonna risk nothing, really. Again, it's quite a good entry. And really, if it goes any higher at all, we're flipping our bias. Even though there's this low volume node above, it still brings us within. Well, it doesn't bring us within with the low value area low of that range. Okay, that's me out of that cell for break even. That's fine. Could still be the move. And I just didn't have enough conviction in it. Very possible. I'm seeing this as like a mini range now. Got some buys, got a sell here. Aggressive buy. See, this is kind of bullish. So should I have given this more room? room to breathe like a fine wine. So they say. Seems to be like stalling a bit. These buys keep coming in. Look at that. So, what are we talking? We're talking break, we're talking low volume node. We're talking big sell. And even bigger buys. So we've got aggressive buys. We've hit this low volume node here now. Back inside the day's value area. On the NAS. This here for me looks like a short squeeze because we have an aggressive seller and then even more, like we have even more aggressive buyers, you have the big buy here. We've broken through this level that we've tried to break through several times now. So we've built. I don't even want to use the word. I'm going to target this level now. My stop loss is at the edge of this low volume node here. I'm actually going to move it to just below these big trades. Okay, we're kind of stalling here. I think this might have been our move for the day. I think this might, we might just bumble about now. Testing the big trades on Euro. Wicking the low volume. Ooh, some big sells in there. So we had some big sells in here. So this is cool. This is interesting. We have buys, we have sellers. We've wicked the low volume node. We've broken above the value area low. That can go away. So broken the range, retested, some big buys and big sells. That's kind of there to create a squeeze. We've got some sells in here that are being defended, but I'm looking to see this break, and that'll be worth participating in. There we go. So that's what I wanted to see. That's what I was looking for. I'm now going to move at least one of my stop losses, because I've got 2 positions on this. I took 2 small ones. One when we broke and had this lock in here, and then another one at this wick of the low volume node that didn't break through anything. There's obviously the low volume node here as well, which means I'm going to tighten my just make sure I'm protecting my risk as much as possible, because we are overall kind of bearish. But this low volume node is kind of massive. I think we could sell straight through it, but obviously I don't know. We have got some big sales coming in still. Have a sell there, but the bubble chart looks like a Christmas tree on this move. So I think it's gonna go straight on up. This is one of those things where when I used to trade price action and structure, I'd be looking at this thinking like there was no entry. I'd have been watching it and it would have just happened in front of me, and I'd have been like, where's my entry and where is my stop loss? It just didn't exist. So yeah, I mean, as much as I was looking for this, I think that if you look at the value area low of that range, we've bounced off it. We've got the profile for this for the day as well. Don't know, you know. I've got a hunch we're at a momentum on that move, you know. It still to me is bearish. Until we break here. And we've got a lot of buyers in here. In this range. Got a lot of big buys, a couple of big sells. We hit this low volume node and bounced off it straight away. I don't know. To me, these buys need to break to regain this level up here, or otherwise it's just they're just going to get squeezed, right? Or are we just at a point of balance now? You know, the day's done nothing. The day went up, the day came back, and overall we're just going to find ourselves a nice nice boring D profile. I think so. Whereas I think this is more interesting. Let me just check on our... Yeah, I'm going to remove all of the risk. Because we've hit a big sell up here, which can fuel a continuation quite nicely. We have got a low volume node here, small one. I want to see momentum continue. I'm risk free on this, but I mean that's my target's probably ridiculous. maybe this low volume node and the fact that we're in a bearish trend is enough for what I'm doing to not make sense. But we've broken this, which is the kind of US Open, New York Open value area. This is the value area. You know, the previous balance is this level here. So it would make sense to regain that level. But with this low volume node, I think maybe we're asking too much. Yeah, we're going to come back to those, to that low volume node now. Probably close my position on that. Okay, so Oh, that's me out of that position. So here we've got this range. Arguably, there's a mean reversion entry in here somewhere for a long up to the top of this range. I'm interested in waiting to see if we can break this range and go higher, or break this range here and go lower, because this is the value area low of the day as well as the value area low for the higher time frame range. The trade I took earlier today was a break of this range here, and a retest and then a continuation. So I'm pleased with that. I was looking at this as another leg down, as a continuation on the trend for the day, but I don't have a huge amount of conviction in it because we've bounced off this value area low on these time frames, and it seems to be sticking. Although we've got a lot of buys in here, but they haven't really done much. They haven't moved the market a lot. They haven't changed the structure. So I'm not sure. I don't have enough conviction to go short in this area, because of the value areas. But I also have nothing to go long with for now. So I'm going to set an alert on the low of day here, set an alert on the high, on the approach to the high, set an alert here, because this level here I put as my decision level for a potential bullish bias, and that's because if it breaks that, then as we're up on the day already, that's a potentially valid trade. And that's because there are a bunch of buys in here, or big trade buys that were in there. So that's, you know, an interesting level. But then again, it's also the point of control here. So we're looking like we're done for the day really, and we're going to stagnate. Or, you know, there's I don't know. I don't know, and I don't have enough conviction to do anything other than sit and wait, because this is the POC for the day. This is the point of control for the higher time frame range and this range here pre-open. These buys could get squeezed or not. Bookmap suggests there's a big passive there. But anyway. Oh, I was right. I was right. Okay. It's good to see. Some of it makes some sense. $1.15, $4.10. Do you think we'll get there? Actually, let's be real. It's nice. See, this is previous balance now. Good place to target. Getting some sales come in. All right, I'm going to call it. All right, ciao.